welcome to Yapping Rack series where I'm gonna be yapping, then we're gonna hit the gym, we're gonna yap on the way back. So Yapping Rack, you know what I'm saying? But today, man, it's been a weird day for me. I woke up super tired, super unmotivated to do anything. Bro, my SD card broke. I had to go buy a new SD card. That was a whole thing. 40 minutes from here, I had to go drive to buy a new SD card so I could shoot this video. Today, we got back. So we're heading to the gym to do some back. I have an interesting thing that happened to me today. I paid $18 for turkey. Now, when I say $18, man, I thought that was super expensive, I thought it was expensive as hell. Dude, I swear, like, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, I paid like 14 bucks, 12 bucks, I think, $12.99 for 2 racks, 2 big tubs of turkey. So, man, that was crazy, man. I said, wow, I almost left the turkey. Man, I didn't even take the English muffins, man. The English muffins were $5. I said, hell no. All right, let's get it. We got 5 repetitions. We start heavy, then we move our way down. So let's go ahead. We got 45 and 25 each side, whatever that adds up to, because honestly, my gym math has not been it. We'll do some quick, well, not quick, nice, tight reps, squeeze at the end, work our way down. So we start heavy, then we work our way down. We got 1 set, heavy top set. After that, we got 4 working sets. So. All right, now we drop the 25 on each side. We drop that. Get some four working sets. What we want. We looked a little high on the first heavy set. It's fine. I'm not gonna, die over that. But we did look a little higher up on the form. Lower it down a bit. Let's get after it. You got 4 nice, solid working sets. You got 3 on the way up. Squeeze. Let it go down slow. So. There was a point in my life where I could do these without support. Now I'm heavy as hell. There's no chance, but that's why we work towards it each and every day. You know, what's the thing about filming in an open gym is that people are gonna walk by, they're gonna think that they can't get it for the camera, but they can. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. See, just like that. So you just gotta let them know. You know, it's fine. It's an open gym. We get it. You know what I mean? Everybody gotta walk. People gotta walk. It's no issues, no problems. Best thing to do is just be fine with it, you know? Just try not to be obnoxious. Leg raises, and we're done. You know, right now, I'm nauseous as a motherfucker. So nauseous on my bicep curls. I feel like in my throat, like acid reflux from my lemon pepper chicken. But it's fine. It don't matter. I'm beat as a mother lover. Let me tell you, I really love back day. I really do. Or not back day, pull day. I guess you could say I'm on push pull leg split right now. My coach switched it up. Either way, anytime I get to work out my back, it's like one of the best days. Every time I work out my back, I feel great. I don't know what it is about back day specific, or anytime I work out my back specifically, or a pull day, whatever. It's always a great day. Always. Always feels good. I don't feel, you know, weird. I feel good. You know, I feel like I got good weight, nice controlled movements, you know. Towards the end, when I start to get fatigued, the form starts to lack. So once that happens, I lower the weight even more. And I go back to just form and squeeze, slow and nice and slow. You know, obviously you want to, you know, push as much weight as you can for depending on your fatigue level, I guess you just say. You know, always push yourself as much as you can, but also be mindful of what you're doing, right? Like if you're like, yo, I'm pushing freaking 225 back row. Okay, cool, bro. Are you doing it the right way? Let me look at your form. Are you too high? Are you barely squeezing? Are you feeling it really? Or are you just throwing it around? You know, because that was my biggest problem when I was, you know, starting off, like, especially because I come from a football background. Not that I played college or anything. I was never that good. But, you know, I was a lineman, then I started as a lineman, then I went to a defensive end, then I went from a defensive end to a linebacker, from a linebacker to a running back, from a running back to a linebacker, both at the same time. So, you know, I always played positions that involved a lot of, like, you know, explosiveness, heaviness, you know, almost every position does, right? I guess you just say, but specifically like linebacker, like I was a middle linebacker. I had to be a, you know, bigger guy. I was coming across, you know, So I always pushed heavyweight. I always did those explosive reps, but I never really squeezed through most of my things because you're in a football locker room. You're in high school. Ain't nobody care about that shit. They just want to see weight move, right? That's what every young guy does. Now though, nowadays, young guys are getting smarter. I see a lot of these guys who are younger than me, like 20, 18 years old. They look huge. They're doing great. And they're doing great. Their forms are good. Some of these guys are throwing the weight around, but they're massive guys. Because the space has grown. Everybody is more educated now, right? I mean, thanks to YouTube and, some videos kind of like this where you have a guy kind of talking about their mistakes and you kind of say, okay, well, why didn't that work for him? Start talking about it, start thinking about it. Again, not that I know fully what I'm talking about, right? I've been lifting for a while, so I know my body, I know what's good for me, and I know, a thing or two, but I wouldn't consider myself anywhere near an expert. I mean, there's no way. But, I think that nowadays there's a lot of education out there, and you can learn things from everybody. You can learn things from guys who don't even look the part, and they might know a shit ton. Looks isn't always everything. I always say that. I know a guy who, he has a degree in what is it, I don't know, some kind of sports medicine, but he doesn't look the part, but he knows what he's talking about. Kind of back to what I was saying in the gym, filming in an open gym, filming in a public gym, very busy gym. Mine is probably the most popular gym here in my area. It's the best one too, for sure. That's why it's so popular. Unfortunately, because of that and where it sits, you got a lot of people from a lot of different parts coming to this gym. So there's always a lot of people in my gym. It's always kind of packed. You got to find the right times to film in your local gym, right? Because, we all don't have our own home gyms, right? But for me, I found it to be later in the night is obviously better. Those 5 a.m. lifts, 6 a.m. lifts are also good too. Just times where people don't really be in the gym. Me, I don't really wake up that early. So, unless I really got to film something and I need all the space and whatever, but I don't wake up early like that. So for me, the later in the night is the best time. And even then, it's still somewhat full in my gym, but not fully. I'm still able to get some angles and not be such a nuisance. But like I was saying, even just try to, best way I say is try to get these angles where you're just not in the way. I know it might be super oh no shit, of course, duh. But you'd be surprised how many people just put their tripods in the only way in and out of a room or whatever, and sometimes you can't get the angle, man. If you can't get the angle, you can't get the angle. The gym is not yours. Everybody pays for it, you know what I'm saying? So, be mindful of the space up you're taking up and stuff, be smart about what you're doing, and don't be that guy, right? Don't be that public nuisance where, people are like, oh, this guy with his tripod, because people see a tripod, depending, especially older people, I guess you could say, they see a tripod, it's just one of these wannabe influencers, one of these wannabe this, wannabe that. And it's yeah, you're kind of right, we want to be something, we're trying to make it online, everybody's trying, so it's one of those things where it's just because you can't worry about those opinions, but at the same time, don't also let yourself get rolled over and bullied, right? Because it's man, if I have a decent angle, I'm not bothering anybody. If some guy chose the route to walk into my tripod or around my tripod or in front of my tripod, it's all right, bro. You had 7 different routes and you chose that one. You know what I mean? And it's the first time, okay, maybe, but if they do it more than once, that's when you might want to say something. Be hey, listen, I get it. You're in a rush, but if you don't mind, can you go around this way? You're nothing crazy. You don't gotta, get in somebody's face and whatever, but some guys are just dickheads. Some guys do it on purpose. Some guys do it to test you and see what you're going to say, and then they're going to snap at you. And when that happens, bro, it's that point you depend, what do you want to do about it? You really want to fight about it and possibly get suspended from your gym or whatever? There's no point. Some of these people are just low lives. They hate their lives. They hate what they got going on. Maybe they're having a bad day. Just say, all right, man, you know what? No problem. You continue doing what you're doing. You have a good one. That's it, man. Just let it go. It's really not that big of a deal, trust me, I used to be one of those people where it's somebody says something to me, I kind of snap back, With time, you start to just think about it, you're man, what's the point? What's the point? You know what's going to make them more mad? If you don't do anything. If you just kind of be condescending in a way and says, you know what, man, it's all good. You have a good one. God bless you. Whatever. Keep it moving. That's gonna make him more mad, and it's gonna leave you perfectly fine. You know, you're not gonna be stressed. You're not gonna be hating nobody. You're not gonna. But now you know that person's a douchebag, and you don't want to have interactions with that person. So you know, probably try to avoid them, whatever. But trust me when I tell you, man. I'm 24. It took me a long time to figure that one out, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it because they get tight. They get tight, and they're gonna say something else, and you just hit them with, okay, no problem, man. You just keep it moving, man. I don't want no problems. Oh, I want no problems. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think you are? No, man. Just don't want no problems. You can keep it moving. And they're gonna think. Eventually, they stop. They're like, "Yo, what am I doing?" You know, they should shut up and they keep it moving. So, yeah, man. You know, tripod placement is important. Angles are important. You know, everybody wants the best angles. Everybody wants to capture the best of what they can. But when the angle's not there, it's not there. Let it be. And you know, if people go by, if you see people like, if you see somebody go like, "Oh shit," you know, obviously thank God, you know, that they're doing that. But just tell them, "No, come through, man. It's an open gym. Cut it out of your video, man. Cut next clip. You know." Because, like I said, it's all about trying to be, you know, work with everybody. Don't be a public nuisance. Don't be annoying, and people won't have a problem. People will see you with your tripod. They'll be like, "Oh, that guy's chill. He's not one of those annoying guys," you know. So, yeah, man. But you know, it's time to eat, man. I'm excited. I think I'll be home in like the next 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. Excited to eat, man. I'm gassed right now, bro. I'm like struggling to catch my breath. So, yeah, man. That was kind of the episode for today of Yap and Rack. First episode, hit a little pool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I really want to have some comments on this video. So if you guys got any suggestions, anything you saw, anything you want to say, dude, comment down below. I love talking to people. I love talking with people, you know, like-minded or not like-minded. You know, if you got something bad to say it too, whatever. I might not respond because I don't really respond to hate, but if you guys, you know, constructive criticism, I'll take it. But, you know, again, if you guys like the video, make sure to like the video, man. And, you know, comment, like, share. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.